Hello, and welcome to Roadmap for Business Success. Let me begin by asking you, are you someone who has been thinking about starting a new business, but you're lost as to what you should be doing first? Maybe you have taken the first few steps, but you're curious as to what to do next. So, hello there. My name is Kevin Dunlap, and I'm the founder and lead trainer at Optimal Performance Academy. And I want to say thank you for being here today. And I get that you're on a busy schedule, yet I'm still very thankful that you have actually time to show up today. And you're probably going to realize that you're going to like being around other like minded entrepreneurs. And also, as a previous educator, I understand fully about investing your time to get an education. So let me ask you this. Have you toyed with the idea of starting a business and you want to learn what to do next? Or are you at the beginning stages, but you lack some knowledge to take you to that next step? Or maybe you already have an operating business and you want to take your business to that next level. Today, you should realize where you are right now and the steps that you need to take. One of my favorite sayings is also a secret to success. It says, massive action beats planning every time. And by you taking action today, by showing up, means you are ready to take action and to do something new and different. And here's the second quote. It is by Woody Allen. The quote says, 80% of success is just showing up. And I want to say thank you for showing up today. You're already showing that you're wanting to do something different, and it starts by just showing up. This means you're ready to learn and do something new and different. However, many people won't show up. They won't try to do anything different. They may feel like they're stuck and they keep getting the same results. They're trying to do the easy route, or so do they think. They find themselves on a hamster wheel. They're putting in a lot of energy and effort, but they're just not getting anywhere. However, you showed up today, and today I'm going to give you an education and help you lay your initial foundation. And at the end of our time together, you will gain an education. And I will also discuss how you and I can work together in the future. This webinar will run about maybe about 60 minutes. And as a bonus, I will give you a free gift if you stay all the way until the end of this webinar. This is my recently published fourth book called Launch the A to Z in Creating a Successful Business. And this will be my gift to you. However, before I start, I want to share with you a core belief that I have. It is, I believe that you will always be more successful by creating and running your own business than you ever will do by working for someone else. However, let me say that one more time. I would believe that you will always be more successful by creating and running your own business than you ever will do by working for someone else. And as we get started, let me share with you a little bit about me and who I am. As I've already mentioned, my name is Kevin Dunlap. I'm the founder and lead trainer at Optimal Performance Academy. We work with new and experienced entrepreneurs who are looking at starting or growing their businesses, especially if it's going to be online. In the past, I was a computer programmer. It was my full-time job after I got out of graduate school. And at that time, I believed the old American adage of going to college, getting good grades, and finding a good job. And that is exactly what I did. At that time, I was working on this project called Y2K. In June of that year, I finished my assignment and I was waiting on my next assignment. So I had a bit of some downtime, and I asked my boss if I could take my 2 week vacation since I was just sitting around, and he said yes. In actuality, I actually took 3 weeks of vacation since he was still trying to find me a new assignment. Shortly after coming back, my boss said he still could not find me another assignment. So he did what they called at that time, he downsized me. That was the word they used back then. He said I didn't earn that second week of vacation either, and said that third week that I took off were both coming out of my final paycheck, which left me with zero final paycheck. I had no severance package. I felt lost. I believed in the American dream of going to school, getting good grades, and finding a good job, only to find out there's no security in a corporate job. And I was devastated. I did not know what to do next. That actually would last for several weeks. Then one day I answered an ad in the newspaper. I found an opportunity that seemed right up my alley. That ad spoke to me and it seemed like a perfect fit. So I polished off my resume and I actually scheduled an appointment. After I showed up, I found that this job was actually an opportunity meeting for a network marketing company. And at that time, I had never thought about being self employed before. At that time, I only thought wealthy people could be self employed. At that company, I started to learn about building a sales based business. I started to learn that I could do something different and for myself. I also found my very first business mentor. And I learned I did not have to spend all this time working for other people in order to get a paycheck. I could do it on my own and I could still survive and thrive. That first company opened my eyes to the wonders of working for myself. And after a few years, that would lead to my real estate investment company as well as my real estate consultation company. I specialized in creative forms of real estate and ran that business for over 16 years. Now, this led me to becoming also an author and a international podcaster where I interviewed other entrepreneurs from across the world. Eventually, this led me to the point where I am today, where I assist other entrepreneurs through the process of actually starting and building a business for themselves. Now, enough about me. Let's get back to you. My goal today is to educate you with as much as I can with a short amount of time that we have together. Today, I'm going to cover three major aspects for new entrepreneurs who are wanting to start or grow their own businesses. I'll be counting these from down from three to one. And the last one is by far the most important. So you definitely want to stay until the very end. And as I've already mentioned, I will also be giving you a free copy of my latest book launch, The A to Z in Creating a Successful Business. So let's go and get started with the content of this webinar. I will begin with the third concept you must fully understand when starting a new business. We will begin by understanding what I call is the client process. This is the path your clients will take when they are working with you. And you must realize that a thorough understanding of this process so that you can actually don't feel dejected when you're just starting out. We will break these down into three distinct phases. Your entire business will always be going through these exact three phases with each and every potential client. Some will fall out at phase one. Some will actually stop at phase two. However, you'll want to take everyone you can through all three phases whenever possible. The first phase of your business is when you're seeking potential customers. It's called lead generation. This is the phase after you've decided what it is that you wanted to be doing and to also start finding your first customers. You may start by going to networking events. And at these events, you will actually want to share with others about what it is that you do. Attempt to find these people or people that they may be referred to you at these events. These events could be local or they could be national or possibly even international. You may also want to start doing some online advertising. You could use platforms like, say, Facebook or YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Google, and there's a slew of number of others that you could use as well. Other possibilities could be actually from your speaking engagements. So you may want to host your own events, maybe your own workshop or your own seminar or something like this, your own webinar. Maybe you should start a podcast like I did. Or maybe you could be a guest on somebody else's stage or be a guest on somebody else's podcast or their radio show or their TV show. Or you can actually create your own group of people or create your own mastermind. A fourth way would be to create an online presence. This could be done through blogging, video blogging, like having your own YouTube channel or TikTok, or building up your SEO from your website. Now, this could also mean being active in Facebook groups as well as also LinkedIn groups and create a lot of online content. These are just a few ways to build up leads to enter into this first phase of your business. This is also where most of the people in your business will reside. Your goal is to fill this bucket, this lead generation bucket, with as many people as possible. However, the types of people you want to attract is going to be covered in the next data point. For the moment, you will actually want to get as many qualified people as possible into this bucket. Phase two of this step of your business is actually to turn these people into a paying client. Regardless of what you sell, you must turn these people into a paying client. This means they're going to purchase whatever it is that you're going to be selling, whatever product, program, or services that you're going to be selling. Now, most of these people in your lead generation bucket will never convert to become a paying client, and you have to be okay with that. This will be a much smaller group of people. As you can see by the image, the bucket is smaller than the lead generation bucket. If you're selling something that is tangible, or let's call it a physical object, you'll either own it or you will have control over it. This will be what you call is your inventory. This could be anything from, like, say, a grocery store, a clothing store, a car lot, or whatever, something that you may have created yourself. However, if you're providing what is called a service, maybe you would be a coach, a masseuse, a trainer, or something along those lines. Whenever you are providing a service, this will be the product that you will be selling. Your product will be your service. When I was in real estate, I sold houses, and this is a tangible product, but I did not have ownership of any of these houses. So, what I was actually selling was my service in providing a good service for my clients as they were buying or selling real estate. When you're converting your clients from the lead generation phase into the paying client phase, they must be willing and able to make that decision. You will do this by showing them that your business is the best one out there. This is where your customer service skills, your knowledge, and the confidence you bring to the table is becomes critical. Once they know that your business is the best for them, they are ready to proceed, and that potential client now will become a paying client. The final phase in the sales process of your business is to provide such great service that this customer now becomes a raving fan. The process to convert a paying client into a raving fan is one that will only happen to a few of your paying clients. And now, this is not to say that they don't enjoy the process of what you're providing them. This does occur when their experience was so great that they become a huge fan of yours and will promote you wherever they can. If you're providing a service to them through one of your processes, they will tell other people about what you do, either by using your personal name, your company name, or by the name of the process. For an example, I have a program called Business Kickstarter. In that program, I help other people start a business from scratch and to show them how to make it successful. Thus, a raving fan would most likely refer to my company as the Kevin Dunlap method, or the Business Kickstarter technique, or maybe even with the name of the company of Optimal Performance Academy. So the entire process that you must look at for your business is to, number one, attract qualified potential clients into your business through some form of lead generation. Then provide value to those people so they actually become a paying client, and then proceed with such great service that they become a raving fan. Now, this brings us to our second data point. Two things actually occur here. First, who is the ideal person that you want to attract? And then number two, what is the problem that they are actually wanting to have solved? Now, you may discover that the problem that they think they have is not their actual problem. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. Let's now focus on the first aspect of this two-step problem. This means, who exactly are you wanting to work with? Now, there are many different names for this type of person. Some people may call them the ideal client. Other people may call them an avatar. I call this person your specific audience. So, who specifically are you seeking to attract into your business? Now, you want to be as precise as possible here. If you're too general, and if you give too general of a description, then this will actually cause you to have failure pretty much from day one. You must be extremely specific in your determination of who you're wanting to work with. So let's look at some examples of who this specific audience person is. Now remember, they're not your actual paying client yet. They are all potential clients. So let's look at this as an example. Let's say you create an apparatus to help people get better oxygen into their lungs. If you're too general, you may say your specific audience person is someone who breathes. You think that anyone who breathes would be a great client. Now, the problem with that is just too simple. That is too generic. If you were to say, I would go to a networking event and you say, I'm looking for anybody who breathes, nobody's going to be able to come up with you a specific person in mind. And the same will be true when you're doing your marketing. However, if you say your specific audience is an ex-smoker or someone who suffers from asthma, then that person will be a lot easier to be discovered at a networking event or be referred to at a networking event. Now, you are being very specific here, and you can actually change the labels that you're looking for at different networking events that you go to. And you also may consider being more restrictive. Maybe you may say, I'm looking for a male. Maybe he's 50 to 65, or somebody who has smoked all their entire adult life. Therefore, when you're starting in business, you must decide on one and only one very specific demographic. This will become your specific audience. This is your potential client. This is who you're putting your marketing budget around. Now, here are some characteristics you may need to determine when you're actually coming up with that specific audience person. Maybe you want to consider, and this is just a small list. You can do others outside this list. You may also want to consider what is their gender, or maybe their age or their age range. Maybe their level of income. For example, can they afford you? What about their marital status or their level of education? Also, you may want to consider is what influences do they have? Are they actually the decision maker? What are their wants and their needs? What about their challenges or problems that they have? And then how are you going to solve those challenges and problems? Once you know the answer to the above questions, you can then start to create a program to solve those challenges. Now, let's take a look at these more specifically. First, we talked about their gender. The way that you market to a male is going to be different than the way that you market to a female. Now, does what you do affect a male and a female differently? This could also include what vocabulary do they use. The second thing was, what about their age differences? Does the problem that you solve affect people differently between a younger age or the older ages? Also, to look at their vocabulary. For example, the word sick to an older person may mean somebody is unhealthy, while to a younger person, that may mean, hey, that was awesome, that was sick. The third value was their level of income. You must consider this when you have a product, service, or program that you are providing. If your program is $10,000, you most likely are not going to be targeting people who are on welfare. You must always keep in mind as to the purchasing power of the person that you are targeting. Their marital status may also be important. Does your service affect single people differently than married people or people that are widows or divorcees? For an example, if you are marketing a singles cruise, you're not going to be targeting people who are couples. If you're on this converse side, if you're marketing group life insurance, most likely you're not going to be targeting people who are single. The next thing that we talked about was what is their level of education, and is this important? So, do the services, products, and programs that you provide, is it best for someone with a doctor's degree, or maybe someone who is a blue collar worker? Now, this is not to say that one is better or worse than the other. It is what things that you need to consider. The next thing to consider are who are their influencers. Now, the many categories can go here. First, let's maybe is their political party affiliation? Is that important? Does it matter if they're Republican, Democrat, or Independent? What about religion? Does it matter if they're Catholic, Jewish, Hindi, or some other form of religion? Or is even religion, being religious, is it even part of what you're going to be trying to find? Other things to consider is what kinds of TV shows do they watch? This could be which news outlets do they follow? Or are they more into reality TV or possibly episodic TV? The other things may want to consider is what kinds of books or magazines do they read? The next one is where a lot of coaches, trainers, and industry experts tend to actually gloss over. And that is, are they the actual decision maker? If they are the decision maker, then you can probably move forward. If they're not, then how can you get the decision maker in front of you so that you can also talk to them at the same time? And then, of course, what are their wants and their needs? Now, you may know the difference between a want and a need, because a want is something that would be nice to have, and a need is something that they must have. And how do they word those wants and needs, and how are you going to actually market to them using those wants or their needs? Their challenges comes next. This is what they're constantly thinking about, that their challenges and problems are. Now, what you're going to be doing is going to be giving them labels, and these labels are going to be important to how you market and talk to those people and how you actually even describe those people. Remember, this is how you create your online marketing. This is also who you're looking for at any event that you attend. This is all based on what you think are going to be the best clients for your services, programs, or products that you're going to be providing. Once you determine who your specific audience person is, then you can start to build a business around that person. You will have a higher chance of success at turning them into an actual paying client. Now, here is an example of one of our specific audience members. That could be a female. Of course, we could have another specific audience that is male. However, in this case, they're going to be a female. Typically, they're going to be 40 years old or older. They also then want to become a coach, a trainer, industry expert at something that they are good at or they like to do. They are going to be new at becoming an entrepreneur. They have money to invest into their new business. And they have a passion about what they believe in. And lastly, they have a bachelor's degree, which means they are educated and they also understand they need to learn in order to be successful. Now, this actually brings us to the second aspect of our data point. This is to fully understand what problem they actually have. Now, what we call this, what is their specific problem? This will be their main problem. They may or may not know what that problem is. When I speak a lot about perspective in all of my courses and my trainings. I even speak a lot about looking at any event from a different perspective. So now let's look at the word entrepreneur from a slightly different perspective. An entrepreneur is a person who solves a problem for a profit. See, so you must be able to articulate the problem that you are solving, and then this becomes what problems do you solve? Now, the first thing you want to consider is how your client is coming up with their problem. This will be something that will keep them up at night, or will be something that they think and worry about all day long. They will dwell on this issue all day long. Now, this will become what they would think of as their top of mind problem. And you need to know how they word that problem in their daily lives. This is why it is so important to define who your specific audience person is. Now, here comes the tricky part. They will have this top of mind problem in their minds, but you need to know if that problem that they're thinking about is actually their actual problem, or number two, and actually just a symptom of their actual problem. If you determine that their top of mind problem is just a symptom of something larger, then you need to be able to define that larger problem as their new specific problem. This is the real problem that you're going to be solving. From their perspective, it could be an unrealized actual problem. They would not know that their real problem is something that is bigger or larger or different than they actually what they were thinking about. Let's do an example so they can explain this better. Let's say you're a health coach and a person comes to you with constant headaches. They were asking for remedies for this constant head pain. So they're maybe looking for a homeopathic cure or some other kind of technique to get rid of their headaches. However, you know that their headache is actually just a symptom of a much bigger problem. So, after a few probing questions, you determine that their specific problem is not the headache at all. It is actually that they are dehydrated. They find out that they're not drinking enough water. The client thought the headache was the actual problem, but you knew it was just a symptom of something far bigger. Therefore, you get paid for being the expert. You are the doctor that will give them a prognosis. Your program, your product, or your services is there to solve that specific problem. This would lead into their top of mind problem. Once you discover what their actual problem is, then you'll be able to uncover the symptoms of that problem. And that's how you're going to be able to possibly even find other clients with those similar symptoms. And that takes us to our final data point. This is going to be critical in how you set up your business for the greatest chances of success for both you and your clients. Now, I call this your specific solution. This is how you know you're going to be solving their problems with the products, programs, or services that you're going to be offering. By having created a series of predetermined steps in your solution technique, you'll be able to do two things. First, you will be able to help them guide your clients to a much higher chance of success. And second, and you'll also have goals that they must achieve along their path to that final solution. Now, what this means is there is no one step solution to their problem. They will have a series of steps to go through along the way. These steps could be small or they could be large, depending on what it is you're going to be providing. Having a specific solution means you are the most effective in solving their problems. You will become a lot more effective and will be able to help a lot more people. There are three different types of solution techniques you can provide for someone else. You can use one, two, or all three. This will all depend on what you are going to be offering. You may use one now and then incorporate some of the other ones at a later time. The first one is what I call a solution series. This happens when you have a process, you take your clients through a series of smaller related problems. Essentially, each problem that you solve will actually create or realize another problem that has to be solved. And you continue with that until there's actual final specific problem is solved. The overall goal is to solve their specific problem, but there are a series of events that must occur before that is actually realized and solved. This is not, again, and it is not a one step process. It is up to you to determine the steps you will take them through. Here's what I mean about how a solution series is actually going to be structured. Your client initially comes to you with a problem. You have realized that problem is actually just a symptom of a much larger problem. You also discover that they have other related problems that they have that also needs to be solved as well as part of the process. Your first step is to find out exactly where they are in the process, and then you will focus on that first problem in that process. You may call this problem number one, and you also teach them how to solve this problem. You may call this solution number one. In your mind, it looks something like this. Problem number one moves forward to solution number one. However, the action will have another problem that will be inherently contained within that solution. Your goal now is to identify that second problem and then provide a way to solve that second problem. This is going to be part of the process where you're taking them through. It is similar to the baby steps you and your clients must take to get to the end of the process. And see here, solution number one created problem number two, and therefore now you're going to be providing solution number two. If you're doing your job correctly, then your client will feel accomplished that they are actually getting improvements. Remember, their main problem is not yet solved. They are on the path to getting it solved. When you begin to solve the second problem, another problem will be created or it will be realized. Your next goal is to step them through that third problem with your third small solution. In your mind, it could be seen like this. You will continue to give solutions as these new problems are being created or they're going to be realized. You will continue until you have addressed their specific problem, which is why they came to you in the first place. Your specific solution took them through a series of smaller solutions that you call your solution series. This means you're solving their problem with only one process that you're going to be taking them through. An example of your solution series could look something like this. Again, let's say you're a health coach and you created a program called Get Fit for Middle-Aged Men. Maybe the goal is to have them hit a target weight or a particular size that they want or a particular maybe body fat index as another indicator. When they're starting this Get Fit program, they'll go through a series of problems that you will solve in a specific sequence. You may start with their diet and knowing what they are feeding themselves. The next problem they may experience is how to buy that food that is good for them and also tastes good. And the next problem after that could be how do you actually prepare that food? Another problem would be the type of exercise that they can do. This will lead yet into another problem with sore muscles. The next problem could be how to keep them motivated. This may include creating a group training program to keep everyone motivated, or having a vision board, or reminding them as to why they wanted this goal in the first place. When you have finally solved their final problem, you will both feel accomplished in achieving that overall goal. So that is how the solution series works. This is just one way that you can solve their problem, just one solution technique that you can use. We have two more to cover. There is another solution that you could provide. The next one could be what is called a sales funnel. Many sales funnels work with the level of contact, we call it the level of intimacy the client has with you. You may be offering essentially the same information, but their level of intimacy or contact to you will be different. Let's start with this with an example. Let's say you write a book on a particular subject and you sell that book for $24.95. Later on, you decide you're going to create an online course that teaches pretty much the same information, but this is going to be in video format so they can actually hear and see you. And this is going to be taking them through those steps. And maybe this online course you sell for $9.97. You then have live events, either online or in person. This could be equated to a 1 day, 2 day, or even a 3 day weekend event. And in this cases, maybe you're charging $29.95. Maybe your next level is to actually have them work with one of your certified coaches. When they're working with one of your certified coaches, maybe in those cases you charge $49.95. And then the last level will be for your real die-hard fans. These are the ones that will be working with you privately, one on one. As you can see, the information could be the same. The book, the online program, the weekend event, going through one of your certified coaches or working with you directly. The information is the same, but the level of contact to you is going to be different. A typical sales funnel works like this. Each funnel has a set of tiers in it. Typically, you will see about 3 to 5 tiers in a sales funnel. There could be more or less depending on what it is that you're going to be offering. The reason it is called a funnel is because the deeper you go, or even the deeper they go, the bigger commitment that the client must actually make. And typically, this will be a financial commitment. And also because the deeper it goes, the more expensive it is, the fewer the number of people that will be going deeper into the funnel. At the very beginning, you have the most people, and the deeper they go, the fewer and fewer people that's going to be actually be willing to make that investment. So, as previously stated, the different tiers are based upon the level of intimacy with you as the entrepreneur. At the entry level or tier one, the commitment may be only actually getting their name and email when you give them a free gift. This is often called a lead magnet. They are just learning who you are and what can you provide for them. At the next level or tier two, this is where they're making a small financial commitment. This could be something like $50 or less, and what you'll be giving to them is maybe a training video or some kind of PDF or report that you provide or a spreadsheet, or it could even be an initial consultation or a coaching session with you. At the next level, tier three, that's when they're going to be making the middle financial commitment. This is going to be where you could be actually be providing an online course or a video series, or possibly even start doing your live weekend events or retreats. The cost here will be even more intimacy with you as the trainer because they get to see and hear you in person. Or if it's through a video series, they get to see you or hear you online. If it is an actually in person event, they may even be able to shake your hand and even take a photo op with you. The cost at this level could range, say, starting at $100 to $5,000. The next level after that will be tier four. This will typically be where they're actually buying a program that you created, and this is going to be a middle to high financial commitment. This will actually, if you're creating a video series, this will usually be taught by you, the actual trainer. It can actually be where you're actually taking them through a solution series in a video format. Now you're getting between, say, $3,000 to $10,000 range. And the last tier would typically be by far the most expensive. This could be where your one on one coaching occurs, or your mentorship, or a mastermind. This could be where you're starting, say, $5,000 or go higher depending on what it is that you're going to be offering. If you're just starting out, you may only have 2 or 3 tiers, and that's okay for your sales funnel. However, as your business grows, that will give you more options and it will give you more tiers that you can have in your sales funnel, as well as different opportunities of them working with you. A sales funnel gives a lot of value about how they will be working with you, and that's why it's so valuable to them. If this strategy fits your specific solution, then this is a great tool to have at your disposal. Remember, you can have both a sales funnel and a solution series at the same time. In fact, the solution series program that you're offering could actually be tier three or tier four in your sales funnel. The third strategy you can use if you have multiple programs or different levels of different solutions that you're going to be providing. This strategy is called the spiral revenue model. This means you have different programs that you're going to be providing. Each program could fit your specific audience at different stages of how they're going to be working with you. Now, a spiral revenue model is very similar to the solution series, but on a much larger scale. In this solution series, you're solving essentially one problem, one major specific problem through one program. In the spiral revenue model, you're going to be solving different problems through completely different programs. And if it's set up correctly, these will be a tandem of programs that you're going to be creating. So let's start off with an example. Let's use the Get Fit program that you created when you were a health coach that we talked about earlier in the solution series. In that solution series, the person wanted to become more fit. You took them through diet, exercise, and motivation. However, after they lost all of that weight, that caused still more problems. And these problems are going to be outside the confines of that Get Fit program. That first program was only going to be focusing on their health and their fitness. One of the problems that they're going to have is that their clothes will no longer fit, which means that they're going to have to buy an entirely new wardrobe to fit that new body image that they just created. Now, this first program, that Get Fit program, was again only about fitness and becoming healthy. It has nothing to do with their wardrobe. That is completely outside the confines of that program. Now you could do one of two different things. You could leave them to worry about that on their own and let them go figure that out themselves, or maybe you can actually introduce them to another solution series that you provide for buying the best clothes that fit their new image. Let's say you created a program, let's call it the Dress for Success program. This program would be perfect, number one, for the Get Fit clients, as they would need to buy a new wardrobe to replace all of their quote unquote fat clothes. However, you can actually attract brand new clients who are never part of the Get Fit program as an actually a new way to bring in new lead generation clients. In the Dress with Success program, you determine which colors are their power colors. Maybe you go shopping with them, or you have somebody on your team go shopping with them. And what they do is they find the best clothes that fit their new body type. Now, this Dress for Success program, you have its own independent solution series that your client's going to be going through. And once they have that wardrobe that fits all the different areas of their life, personal, business, and everywhere else, they would now graduate from that Dress for Success program. Now, if they entered into your sales process, into your business only through that one program, they will feel happy with the results. However, if they're also graduating clients from your Get Fit program, now they have two major successes with you, and now they're going to even have a greater reputation or history with you. And now, at this point, you could do one of a few different things. Maybe you introduce them into a third program. Maybe you call it this one called the Earn What You Are Worth program. This will be the natural next step for those who just finished the Dress for Success program, and it also could attract directly the Get Fit clients that decided to buy their own wardrobe on their own. And you can also even find a third set of clients who never took either one of your other programs, since this program can stand on its own. Now, let's say in the Earn What You're Worth, this could be talking about maybe improving their resume, or asking for a raise or promotion, or teaching leadership skills, or something along those lines. I am not saying to create these exact programs. What I am saying is create programs where one can naturally feed directly into the next one. Each program should be mutually exclusive, which means that it's completely independent from the former, and it could be advertised on its own. And in some cases, you may even have where one program could be a prerequisite for another program, which you see in college all the time. Now, you do not want to combine these programs for several reasons. First, it could be just too much information and you don't want to overwhelm the student or the client. And second, if all three of these programs were one program and persons only come to you for, say, for Earn What You're Worth, they may see that, well, I don't need to Get Fit, I don't need the Dress for Success aspect, and they may not invest because there's just too much stuff that they don't need as part of what they're looking for. So this is how a spiral revenue model works. It creates a series of programs where a potential client could go through as they work with you more and more. Clients can also enter into your business through any of those programs that you're offering. Some may enter at a later stage only to realize they want to invest in one of your earlier programs. What this means is that if they came to you in your Earn What You're Worth program, they may say, well, the Dress for Success or the Get Fit could be something that could also attract them. Each program that you offer will be a new investment. The investment can be set up as being a bigger investment the deeper they work with you. And it's easier to get a repeat customer than it is to constantly to keep finding a new one. And that is why the spiral revenue model is set up the way that it is. When you're looking at your solutions that you're going to be providing, can you make these into a series of programs? If so, then you need to draw out that sequence. Information may overlap in the different programs, and that is completely okay and is actually even preferred. The reason being is you cannot assume that somebody taking, say, solution number three or program number three is going to already automatically know program number one and program number two, the information contained in there. They are not going to understand that. And also for the people who actually are taking all of your programs, they will see where things overlap as being, hey, that information is critical, or number two, that's how the different programs are actually interlinked with each other. As you can see, your specific solution can be complex or simple. If you have multiple programs, or if you can create multiple programs, then the spiral revenue model will work perfectly. If you're just starting out and you just have one program that solves one top of mind problem, then that's where your solution series will work. In a program where you have multiple levels of contact or multiple levels of intimacy with you, then the sales funnel will work. Your specific solution can be created in many, many different unique ways, as you can see. Once you really get this down, you can now incorporate one, two, or all three of these into your business. Now, this brings us to a statistic. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in the United States, nearly one third of all small businesses will fail within the first 2 years, and 20% of those will fail in the first year. And I feel that the reason that most of these businesses fail is because of the points I just made. They don't know exactly who their specific audience person is. They're spending money chasing the wrong people and trying to attract the wrong people into their business. Number two, they don't fully understand the top of mind problem that their client has, which means they don't understand their specific problem. Or they have not crafted a specific solution to solve those and other potential problems. So, as you're starting to grow your business, you will actually have many unanswered questions at different stages of your business. Each step in scaling any business, you will need a planned set of instructions. I have seen too many people start a business without a well defined plan just to see them go bankrupt within a year or even within a few years. Some of them will actually blame that it was not their fault. They will blame, hey, it was the economy. It was because of some new regulation that came out, or it was because of COVID-19, or the housing crunch, or the recession, or the depression, or blah 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 blah. Because regardless of the excuse that they are going to be given, they will actually tend to blame something outside of themselves. All I can say to you is that you need to take a look at how you set up your business. Did you have a roadmap in place that you can use as a guide when things change? Now, I would love to spend a little bit more time on giving you some more information, also talking about how we can actually work together. I want to share with you about setting up a time where you and I can talk one on one about you and your business. This will be up to 1 hour. That will be an in depth as to what kind of business you want and what kind of business that you have. In this strategy session, we'll cover topics like number one, short term and long term business goals. These will include what do you want to get done next week, or possibly where do you want to see yourself in 5 or 10 years. Secondly, why you're wanting to build this business in the first place. We will discover that this can actually be multifold. Number three, what are your current challenges and how can we start the process to get past those challenges? And what are the best places and ways that you can start to bring people into your lead generation bucket? And how can you actually get those lead generation bucket clients actually converting them to become a paying client? And then what roadmap can you create now that will propel you to a much more successful future for you and your business? One thing you will soon realize is that you're building your business, you'll hit certain milestones. These will propel you to the next level of success. And I call these milestones as they will affect and your overall confidence. And here's one of my favorite personal quotes. Confidence comes from doing and learning. By taking action now, you will gain confidence over time. Regardless of the outcome of that action, you need to be open to learning and possibly doing something different. Now, there was a famous quote from Confucius. It goes, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." And operating a business is a journey. That journey will be as easy or as hard as you make it. There's another famous quote by Henry Ford, the founder and owner of Ford Motors. It goes, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." Now, let's talk about the investment for this one on one strategy session with me. This will be one entire hour. We'll be talking about your business and see how serious you are at building your business, if you want to do it slowly or quickly. And before I mention the actual investment, let me ask you, what value would you put into 1 full hour to talk with someone about your business's growth? This is where we can help you gain clarity on your business, and also how you can avoid very costly mistakes. As you may recall, I've been running my own business for over 20 years. There's a lot of learning that comes into play when you run a business. And one thing to learn is how to adapt to changing times and economies. If you recall, I had a business that I ran for 16 years that was in the real estate consultation as well as investment. This was during the housing crunch. But it started before, and I had to adapt and change during the housing crunch. Thus, as getting back to on topic, I feel I can offer a lot of insight in helping you to start or grow your business. My normal fee for working one on one with someone is $2,000 per hour. This is a bargain due to the number of years I've been running my own businesses. And this, again, it would be 1 full hour where we'll be talking about you and your business. If you were to go to business school for only 1 year at any college or university, you're probably going to be spending at least $20,000 or possibly even more for that education. As I've already mentioned, this is going to be a full intensive 1 hour where we'll be talking about your business. And again, my normal fee is $2,000 per hour. Now, I do need you to listen very carefully here. If you're really committed to starting your business and growing it quickly, then I would highly recommend scheduling a strategy session with me ASAP. There we will discuss you and your business. This way you can have a more clear game plan after our call as to what to do next, regardless if you decide to work with us or not. Since you stayed on this webinar to this point, I'm going to offer or do something that's really, really special. I'm going to actually give you this session for free. That's right, there is no charge to you. This is a way of me saying thank you and following me or listening to me for the last 50 minutes or so. Now, there is no risk for you at all. This is only a time investment. So here's how you can schedule your call with me right now. Just go to our website at www.optimalperformanceacademy.org/strategy. Now, here's what Jen Lucas had to say. She said, Kevin Dunlap has created a simple process to powerfully change my life. I can use, and I have, the learnings immediately to make positive changes. It is great that I can apply them in my personal and professional life. Go ahead and follow this link and schedule that strategy session right now. Simply go to www.optimalperformanceacademy.org/strategy and choose the time and date that best works with you. Now, if you want clarity in your business, then you must hurry. I am taking only a limited number of new calls and new clients at this time. So think of it this way. There is no financial investment for this call whatsoever, and you will actually gain additional clarity into your business. This is only a time investment. So go ahead and follow this link again at www.optimalperformanceacademy.org/strategy. So don't be one of those new business who fail because you just don't want to spend an hour to help understand your business to make it more successful. Imagine how much you can actually learn from this call. So here's what Svetlana had to say. She said, Kevin takes his clients on the journey of the possibility of a great life that every person can have if he chooses to think and feel differently about past experiences. He makes the process fun and exciting. So, as a business owner, you owe it to yourself and to the people you serve to bring your solution to the world. So, invest today in yourself and your company. And if you're willing to do the work, then there is absolutely nothing to lose. So, stop struggling and take a chance on your future and your business. Go ahead and follow that link. And as promised, here's the link to my latest book launch, The A to Z in Creating a Successful Business. This book is a collection of years of topics, learning lessons, as well as real life trials and tribulations. And it sells on Amazon right now for $29.95. And I'm going to give you this book for free as a way of saying thanks. It's my second free gift to you for saying thanks for staying into the very end of this webinar. And so I strongly encourage that you not only you read the book, but also do the exercises in it. There's over 40 exercises in this book that can help you gain clarity on your business. Then what you want to do is implement those teachings into your life and your business. Once you register, I'll be sending you an email with a link with some pre-call questions. This is designed to help both yourself and me to have a much better and more successful call. And secondly, it should help bring some clarity to you. And for me, it's a chance to understand where you are today so that when we actually are together, we're going to be a lot more effective with each other. So I hope you enjoyed this show, and I look forward to our call. And until next time, be amazing.